It's your girl Tahirah Ahshah, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be showing you how to create custom packaging using Cricut. Okay, so I am in Cricut Design Space, and we're going to go ahead and start making our words. Okay, so this is the part where you make your words at. Again, if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to click text, and then I'm going to write my logo. Lord, I was about to start writing my name. Let me delete that. And write Pure Life Stationery. That's my business. If you don't know, now you know. And then I am going to size this. So the box that I am going to be creating today or customizing today is, I believe it's like 12 inches long. So I'm going to make this about 11 inches. And I am going to add it to my font. It already showed up in the font, maybe because I used the font before, but I am using the font Vogue. That's what the majority of, my wording, that's just like my branding. I just love it, okay? But Vogue is kind of hard to use if you are using, like small words, okay? Because of how like thin the outlining of the letters are using Vogue. And now I'm just editing it. I like to do the space out the words a little bit so they're not so, together. And then I'm going to click make it. And then once you click make it, again, I'm just adjusting it how I want it to be on the vinyl. And then we're going to head on over to the Cricut, which is voila. I have the Cricut Explore Air 2. And then open her up. Now, these are the tools that you're going to need. A mat. My mat is trifling, so whatever. The cutting board. I think this is what it's called. I don't really know the actual legit names of these tools, but yeah, that's some scissors. And then, the scraper and the weeder. I'm assuming this is what I use to weed. So I just call it the weeder. I think that's what it's called. Okay. I don't know. But what I'm going to do is cut up the vinyl. I like to use the cutting board to cut the vinyl. Because if you notice, like the cutting board, the Cricut cutting board and those lines inside of the Cricut Design Space, they're the same. So cutting the vinyl on this board allows me to use the right amount of vinyl because I don't want to be wasting material. And I always add a little bit more just to be sure. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I hate wasting material. So this part takes me a little while, but I just love the way that it cuts. It cuts straight across, super, straight to the point. Whatever. And then I'm going to add this to the mat, and I'm going to add it to the mat based on, just adding it to the top. Okay. Just add it to the mat how you have. So excuse me, I'm going to add the vinyl how the words were on the Cricut Design Space. So in that same area. Okay. And this is what it's going to look like. And then I'm just going to add it to the Cricut. Adding it to the Cricut. Lord, let me get this camera together. What's happening? Y'all, I hate doing like tutorials like this because I'm just not good with like the camera stuff. But here we go. And then I'm going to speed this up a little bit because y'all know the Cricut can be kind of slow sometimes. And I don't like using the fast paced mode. Now Cricut does have a fast paced mode in the Design Space, but I don't like using that because I don't feel like it cuts the best that way. And then while that is cutting, while the Cricut is cutting out my logo, I am cutting out the transfer tape, and I do use the same cutting board to cut off the transfer tape as well. So we'll see how it goes. It is kind of moving fast because I sped it up. And then now that that's done, we're going to transfer this or remove this from the mat. And it's best to pull the mat away from the paper instead of the vinyl away from the mat. But I just did that. And you can kind of see the logo a little bit, but you're going to be able to see it a little better in a minute. But she is pretty. And I love this vinyl, y'all. And FYI, I do not use Cricut vinyl. I hate Cricut vinyl. I hate it with a passion, y'all. It just doesn't weave the best. I found a really good vinyl on Amazon, and it's just bomb. I don't know if I want to share the vinyl that I use yet, y'all, because I don't know. Just search on Amazon, because I do use this for my business, so I don't know if I'm ready to share that just yet. And excuse my nails, but listen, I'm going on my anniversary trip in like less than a week, so I'm just trying to hold off getting my nails done until the very last minute because I want them to be fresh. Y'all know how it is. And so this is the most tedious part, which is weaving. I'm just trying to separate the vinyl from the backing of the vinyl, if you know what I mean. And you're going to see what I mean in a second if I can grip it. This part always takes the longest for some reason, because this vinyl is like really good vinyl, y'all. All right, so now the weaving part. And y'all, this is my favorite part. It's so soothing weaving to me. I don't know what it is. I just love weaving. And this is what I was talking about when I said like the Vogue font has like those very thin lines. You see the U right there? So it, like, you really have to be careful if you are going to be using a thin font like Vogue, because yeah. And I downloaded Vogue. So Vogue is not one of the fonts in Canva. I mean, not in Canva, in Cricut. It's not one of the fonts. I downloaded that. If you want to see a video on how to download fonts, put it in the comments, and I will do that maybe later. But y'all see how this could be. And then, so that's it. And then I'm going to ball that up. I kind of like to keep that nearby, because you're going to see why in a minute. And y'all, again, this is my favorite part, just getting all of that excess. And it is best that you do this part now, okay? So do this now before you transfer it to the transfer tape. Because I like when I first started using my Cricut, and sometimes when I'm rushing, I'll add this to the transfer tape before weaving, and it just doesn't make any sense. Do like weave before you add it to the transfer tape, please. And then, as you can see, I'm going to clear that L up in a minute. It's just not giving what I needed to give. And that's what I'm talking about with the fine line. So my logo is probably the hardest logo. That's why I'm able to do everyone else's so easily. And I know it's not in the camera. I'm so sorry, y'all. It's not in the camera, but y'all see what I'm doing. And you're going to, yeah, let me pull it down a little bit. Okay. And that's all I was doing. And then voila. But let me fix this L a little bit. It's not giving. And it's just easier to fix it with the actual weaving tool. Look at that, y'all. Look at that. It just looks, I love it. I love it. It's giving. So now I am going to just cut off some excess material. Like I said, y'all, I really didn't measure this correctly. This is a whole lot of extra vinyl that I could have used for something else. But like I said, it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, I like to cut off the excess material just so it just helps me be more, what is it, like specific? Is that the word I'm looking for? No, not necessarily like specific, but it helps me, like, y'all gonna see what I'm talking about once I add it to the box. Like a more precise, that's what I'm talking about. A more precise application, right? So if you have all this extra stuff around it, it's kind of hard to pinpoint like where you are centering it on the box. And this is the transfer tape. I've already cut it. And so I'm just going to do the exact same thing that I did with the vinyl and try to find the edge to separate the transfer tape from the backing. And again, y'all, this is like super tedious. This is, it's just a lot, especially if you have, and I noticed the better the tape or the vinyl, the harder it is to separate it from the backing. That's what I've noticed. And then I'm just going to apply this. I don't really try to like focus on like this being straight, but you know, kind of straight, but it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? Because you're going to see why in a minute. And then I'm going to use the scraper to actually apply. Now, this is one of the most important steps, y'all. Other than the weaving, this is one of the most important steps because this is what is going to get the vinyl onto the transfer tape and then onto that box. So you really want to make sure that you scrape as best as you can. And I try to only scrape on the actual like words and not around it, just so the words can apply and not the whole, and so the rest of the sticky, y'all know what I'm trying to say. Okay, and then we're gonna pull this. It just looks so good. It just looks so good. Oh my god, oh my god. It looks really, really good, y'all. Really, really good. Okay, so now we are going to apply it to the box. This is the curated box that I have. I use this box for my tumblers. Like I said, it is like it's 4 inches wide and then like 12 inches long. So I'm just making sure that I'm putting it on the right spot, because the first time I did this, I didn't put it on the right part. I put it on like the bottom of the box like a dummy. But look at it's like the perfect size, because I did it 1 inch lower or shorter, and then I'm going to add it. And that's why I said, like, it doesn't really matter how you apply it to the transfer tape, because now is when you actually do the precision, okay, and making sure it's straight and in the center of your packaging. And then I'm going to scrape it, and then I'm going to use the tweezers or the weezers, the weeder again, to pull it. And then you're going to notice that some of the edges of the words are going to come up, because again, it's my font. And then that's why I'm just using my fingers to push it back down, as I'm pulling the tape away. But this is how you do it, y'all. I just love the way it comes out. And a good advice, a little piece of advice that I would want to give you is to try to make your packaging like as simple as possible, or your logo as simple as possible, because the more like gaudy and colorful and crazy your logo is, the harder it's going to be to create packaging. And when you try to like get someone else to create your packaging, it's going to cost more, because your logo is like super crazy. So just keep it like minimal, sleek. That's the vibe. Okay. But do what you want to do. That's just what I'm advising you to do. And look at her. She is so pretty. And voila, y'all. It literally takes like 5 minutes. Okay. 5 minutes. And then you can do it in bulk if you want to. But these are all of the different types of packaging that I have created using my Cricut: mailers, boxes, shopping bags. I use the shopping bags from when I'm at like pop-up shops and stuff. And then this was a bag that I created for an event for someone. And that's probably one of my favorite creations. It took the absolute longest, but it's my best. And I also offer this service, y'all, on my website. So if you go on my website and you click branding, then you would see that. And then you can just DM me your logo on social media. All of my social media handles are listed in the description box below. And then I can give you a free quote, and it's super minimum order quantity. You don't have to order 100 pieces with me. Shop with your girl. Bye.